Yo, hi, hello, what's going on? Don't mind that. That's just VMix Social. We can just minimize that. Don't mind everything that's going on here. This is just my desktop. Okay. Hi, I hope you guys like the new setup. I thought it was fancy. Hi, it's been a while. Been a while. Um, as you can see, I am back in my normal place of abode, Goblin Cave. It is a little bit more green in here than it was. I hope you guys are fans. Hope you guys like it. It's not quite finished. There's going to be a little bit of stuff that goes up on the top here. I do have this going on in the bottom if it decides to play. Come on, do the thing. Do the thing. Yeah, there we go. We got Patreons down at the bottom now and members as well when it cycles through. My audio is a little bit low. All right, I will turn myself up. Is that a little bit better? If that's not enough, I can do a little bit further. Yep, whoop, let's go to there. Hey, how's it going? Hey, is that better? Hopefully that's better. Okay. So, as you can also tell, is social not going? Social is on. Off. On. There's gonna be some stuff up there when it's once it's ready to go, but it's not quite finished yet. Oh, you know what? It's on the wrong thing. Hold on. It's hold hold up. It's on the wrong. I see what's going on here. There we go. That should fix it. There we go. Hey, there we go. Hey, yeah. Hi. Hello. Hello. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I made myself tall because I kind of like the taller ones instead. Plus because I move up and down based on like doing art. That's the way I kind of set it up. All right. Side note, as you can see, that is not currently art up there right now. That is my desktop. I have given up on doing art today, at least for the stream, because I just finished watching today's for the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, and I'm going to talk about that instead. So for anybody who came here for art, I apologize. We'll be doing that hopefully tomorrow if my brain is not fried. My brain is fried. Absolutely fried. I got a fancy Laura Secord mug. It's got alcohol in it. I am already brain fried today after listening to that. I actually took notes. I didn't take like fancy dancy notes. I did put something on my Amazon wish list to make better notes, but I don't really expect anybody to send it to me because it's really expensive, but I kind of want one. Anyway, okay. There are a few channel announcements. First announcement, like before we get too started. First announcement is I didn't realize that congratulations to Aquaman for being the best movie ever, apparently. I didn't realize that was the case. I was not under the impression that Aquaman was the most successful film ever. So congratulations to Jason Momoa for his film that was so impressive nobody even noticed. Gotcha. All right. Thanks, Feline. I'll look into doing that. It is a little bit much. It looks like. Second off, um, that agent probably made the point more for Johnny Depp than I've ever seen, and it was pointed by the Umbrella guy on Twitter. He's at that Umbrella. If you're interested in his commentary, he said that Amber Heard's agent is making Johnny Depp's case. She says it's hard to get work when there's accusations, articles, things said that can't be proven, like an op-ed written in the Washington Post. And I was like, yep, yup, yup. Hello. Um, I also made a couple of notes from the earlier ones. That agent blew my mind with saying something like that. That was a little bit overshooting in my humble opinion. But I had made a couple of notes. I wrote them on my phone and I'm going to get set up I have a plug for this so that way I can put like what's on my phone on the screen. So I'll get that running hopefully soon now. But okay. At one point Elaine had asked that's Amber Heard's crew. Her I don't know if she's the head lawyer, but she's the older lady. Um had asked Johnny Depp's ex-manager if he had ever had angry behavior. And I was like, what the hell is angry behavior? Because that's stomping around, throwing a tantrum, having a tone. I, they're trying to it seems to me that they're trying to frame as if being angry is not an acceptable emotion to have, and that's just not the case. It's okay to be angry. It's not okay to hit people when you're angry, but you can be angry and have angry behaviors like and you can do that. That's okay. You can say that you're angry. You can say, "Hey, I'm angry. This is frustrating. I don't like it." Roddenborn is the head lawyer. So I thought it might be the case. Okay, at one point, so this has happened a few times that Elaine has done this in questioning, and I think Rottenborn did it as well. And the quote was, "Do you know one way or the other if Johnny Depp hit or punched, or kicked or headbutted anyone?" This was after the person had testified that they did not see any abuse or like physical violence take place between Amber Heard or Johnny, nor had they seen any bruising marks or anything, injuries on Amber Heard. And so I just wanted to clarify with this the way this question is asked. This question is asked to say, "Hey, do you have any personal knowledge?" Because she was using that in terms of the previous lawyer or the current lawyer for the Sun case. Um and it it's a question that's wrought with like it's got a few issues, and it's mostly that, yeah, I guess I don't know if this person stopped breathing when I was not in the same room with them. I didn't personally witness them take every single breath their entire life. It's an absurd question of like why would you suspect otherwise, right? If you don't have any foundation of which to believe someone might be abusing somebody else, like bruising or like injuries, then there's no reason for you to suspect that there would be anything. Most domestic violence cases do not take place within the eyes of other people. A lot of abuse takes place behind closed doors, as you would put it. And so to say that, well, you didn't see anything, didn't know anything, but also you have no reason to think there wasn't, right? What? What? And Letty points out angry equals violent, violent equals abusive, abuses equal Johnny Depp punch people. Got him. That's what they're trying to establish. I don't know if anybody else got the same feeling I did about this case, about this day, particularly in court. But this day made me feel like we were back in day like 4. Because it's the same kind of, did Johnny Depp do drugs? Yeah, we all know Johnny Depp did drugs. Johnny Depp said Johnny Depp did drugs. Like, this is not a big thing. And they also do a really bad job, purposefully, of course, just in distinguishing what kind of drugs, whether they were illicit drugs or whether it was, when you say drugs, what do you mean? And they're implying like heftier illicit drugs, whereas what the person is answering is, I mean, he smoked weed. I think he did coke sometimes, probably. He was on medication that he was addicted to, and that's what he was getting sober from. And then it turns into a matter of like, if you are I really feel bad for people who struggle with like alcohol abuse or people who are addicts, because this is really taking advantage of those people, as it's trying to frame every addict as an abuser. Like, you're not just abusing the drug, you're abusing the people around you. And that just does not seem to be the case. The other thing that I noticed, because I haven't talked about the second day or the third day of Amber, I haven't talked about the cross-examination of Amber alive yet, so I figure I should probably touch base on my thoughts on that, because it went exactly what exactly what I expected. She's gonna be like, look how tough I am, I'm not crying. Then she's gonna try to cry, she's gonna fail, and then she's gonna get mad. And if you listen to her, you can hear her, the tone and the volume of her voice. She doesn't like stand up and yell, but you can hear her getting louder and speaking. And then when they ask her about something more that she's supposed to be more vulnerable about, you hear her bring her voice back down and kind of talk like this and talk about how, like, oh, it was so bad. Yeah, no, it was awful. Well, I was there. Like, that's the switch you're seeing. All right. So I just, and then at the end, she gets up and stomped off, and against the judge, against the jury, disrespecting her own lawyers. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Medicinal drugs, like, yeah, like painkillers, like opioids. I think Oxycontin is what they've been saying that Johnny Depp was addicted to. But there is an interesting thing to be said about the drug and alcohol use, right? Because from testimony so far, we know that the person who didn't seem to, or has not come up that they had any kind of a sobriety period like Johnny Depp has had, Amber Heard has not, as far as we know, although she was doing illicit drugs and drinking a lot, often. If I'm not mistaken, Ben King's testimony was like all the time. So you've got, if drug and alcohol usage equals abuse, then that would apply to Amber as well. So it's certainly not like a catch-all, right? Mm. Yeah, Bent makes a really good point. Kent Hovind talked about trying to demonstrate that Cindy Lincoln was bipolar, as if that damages her credibility. So saying that, like, Johnny Depp was addicted to a drug doesn't suddenly mean that he's not valuable as a human being, and doesn't automatically make him violent. These are two separate issues. And as far as we know, even the people Amber has called up have said, can I help you? Hi. What are you doing? Hello. What do you want? You want something? I don't got anything. Hi. You want to say hi? Is that what you want? Hello. Hi, Book. You can give me a high five? Oh, oh, good enough. Thanks. I appreciate that. Thanks for being my emotional support dog. I don't have any snacks for you. I'm sorry. I have a fork. Would you like a fork? Yeah, there you go. Okay. So I don't having an addiction doesn't make you guilty of crime all of a sudden. That's absurd. Like, that doesn't make, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. having a mental disorder also doesn't immediately mean that you've done anything illegal, let alone or necessarily abused anybody. You need more than that. And I've noticed that, especially today, most of the depositions that were brought forward just do not provide what it feels like, grasping at straws. I'll put it that way. That's what it feels like. Most of the depositions either apply to both Amber and Johnny, or go in Johnny Depp's favor. Very few of these actually are good for just Amber at all, assuming they're credible, right? There's already like an ex-girlfriend from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which was filmed in 1998 or was released in 1998. Didn't like him after they fucked. I mean, okay. They keep asking people if Johnny Depp changed when he was drinking or doing drugs, which was marijuana. And so far the best answer that they've gotten from somebody is, I mean, he was high. What? It's really underwhelming. It's underwhelming in general, but it's also very, very underwhelming for her own witnesses to not have. Oh, is your toy under the couch? Is that your problem? Okay, just a second, bud. Her own witnesses do not, like, that's the best they've got for, like, the level and degree of allegations, let alone the questioning of the police officer, the head office lady that covers domestic violence for that district. Like, she everything she said ponied up and lined up exactly with what the police officer said, what the body cam footage showed, and the only ones who have said anything otherwise were Amber Heard's friends. Like, really? Hey, 1 second, I gotta grab the dog's ball. He rolled it under the couch. There, he should be a happy doggo now. Yeah, there he goes. Hi, bud. Alright, he's on the couch now. He's a happy camper. It really doesn't seem like they have much to be going off of. I don't know how you could have such extreme claims like Amber Heard has. Extreme claims. And then have he smokes weed as your counter. Like, that proves that all this stuff, like, are you really? Really? That's the best you got? There's also, like, what picture she took, and this is like Vasquez. Props to her, by the way. She is fantastic. But she was very particular in pointing out, you didn't show us pictures of this. You have not submitted these into evidence. These pictures don't exist, do they? Or, so you took pictures of all the damage, but you didn't take picture, like, to the property. But you didn't take any pictures of the damage to your person when you did these other times. This is like, I have so much, I have all the evidence. I don't know how you could possibly have such an escalated situation. The other angle that they're trying to take is that, anybody who is paid by Johnny Depp is obviously going to side with him and protect him. And then they pull up ex-employees that are disgruntled as if that's supposed to grant viability. I was really, really interested in the financial advisor guy. That I was curious about, only because I'm a little bit more... It has nothing to do with the case. Realistically, it's just, I was very curious to hear a little bit more about what had happened with how much money he was making and how much he was spending, and, like, why he thinks, like, what was the disparagement there. And from listening to that guy talk, as a, like, he seemed like he was a financial advisor saying, hey, you can't afford this or you can't afford that, and less of a financial planner who's like, maybe you shouldn't spend, like, the maximum amount of money that you have, because there's no guarantee you're gonna have that. Like, you think you'd have a nest egg off to the side or something. So I'd be curious to know a little bit more about that, and if there was, like, any foul play, because that seems to be potentially the case. I don't know if that will be the case, but maybe. I just thought it was interesting. That guy did not come off good to me. I was listening to that guy talk, and I was like, bro, sounds kind of sleazy. But they were all ex-disgruntled employees and ex-friends and people that Johnny didn't want in his life anymore. So it's like, do you have anybody neutral that shows your case? Listening to the search engine stuff about Twitter was just like, oh boy. Oh boy. I could not believe that man who claimed to be like, well, you know, it's about the science and the science this and the science that, had balls, the balls to tell us that all of the tweets that had hashtag Johnny Depp, justice for Johnny Depp in them, were negative towards Amber. Being positive toward Johnny doesn't equate to negative towards Amber. Sorry, that's not how that works, Mr. Science. You should know that. Because that's just a fucking lie. There's no way that that's the case. I took a picture of this mirror where I'm saying Johnny was looking insane and talking with himself, but didn't think to take a photo of the sliced off feet or literally anything else. Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. Let's take a little bit of a look at this though, because I've found some people who are a little bit more on the pro Johnny side of things that I thought would be valuable to take a quick peek at. So this lady's name is Kat. She is, oh, I've forgotten who she is. Hold on, let me pull up her bio thing. Tech and culture reporter and NBC News. Right, so she's looking at this case. That's something that I also noticed, is that most of the mainstream media is pro Amber. Which I find absurd. Maybe because it's the easy thing. Like it's easy to support the person who says they were abused because there's less risk in supporting somebody who's like, I did not hit her, I did not, it's bullshit. All right, so anyway, she had said, this was from May 18th, so yesterday. I've been watching Depp versus Heard for the past 2 days and have yet to see a single legitimate argument against either of Amber's witnesses, who both testified that they witnessed Depp's violent behavior and the aftermath of physical violence against Amber. Watch the trial, listen to the evidence. It's not looking good for Depp. And so she's talking about yesterday's witnesses, which were Io and Rocky, if I'm not mistaken. And Whitney, sorry. So I don't know which trial they're watching, and I don't know how you could have possibly watched all of this trial in 2 days. So, unless you've been watching it for more than the past 2 days, you've missed a lot. So basically, if she'd only been watching for the past 2 days as of yesterday, it would mean that she would have seen Amber, and she would have seen she wouldn't have even seen Amber's testimony. She would have only seen the cross-examination and then Amber's witnesses. So there's a whole lot of information that's not, that she's not aware of at best. And looking at some of these responses, let's be honest, they both were abusive to each other. No, mutual abuse doesn't exist. He was the abusive one, and afterward she started to respond with violence as well. It's called reactive violence. The only person with the power to be abusive was Depp. I'm a DV abuse victim as well. I know how it works. I disagree that mutual abuse doesn't exist. I've watched every second of the trial. Both of them were toxic and abusive towards each other. It's disgusting what both of them did to each other. I just hope both find peace. So why is he taking legal action if not to continue the abuse? What else does he gain except to slate her in public? I think they mean slate her in public, which is exactly what he has done. That's controlling behavior. All right. So let's talk about this a little bit. I don't entirely agree with the characterization of they were both abusive to each other, because be abusive is meaning more than one thing in regards to this case. For this case, the context around the term abusive is being used in a very, very specific way to include violence, and to include um, like emotional abuse, physical abuse, stuff like that. Um, I My take on this case is that they were toxic. Their relationship was toxic and caustic. And the reason their relationship was toxic and caustic was because of Amber Heard specifically. Now, do I think there's an issue with Johnny Depp marrying somebody in his mid to late 50s, marrying somebody in their mid to late 20s? Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. They're both adults, but when you get to that kind of an age gap, specifically in that age range, it becomes very difficult to tell who is taking advantage of whom in that case. Um, if you want to say that Johnny Depp wasn't a good boyfriend or a good husband to Amber, sure, but we haven't been presented of with anything of Johnny Depp being violent or even aggressive towards her. Most of the audio that we've been provided to by Amber's side as well has, for the most part, contained very little yelling, um, as if that would be viable anyway, which it is not. But also, most of it is just Johnny trying to leave the situation and him acknowledging that the situation is escalating and him saying he does not want the situation to continue to escalate. I'm just gonna make a minor change to the visual here just to get a bit of a better look at just so you guys can see a bit better. I just want to make sure I have this. Feel like it could be better. So let's no. Whoop. Let's just make this a little bit nicer. There we go. Ta-da! Isn't that lovely? I just I don't buy this framing. I don't buy it. Any kind of Johnny Depp being abusive in her direction seems to be speculation at best. All right, no, mutual abuse doesn't exist. Nope, that's just not the case. That's just wrong. That's just not. You can have people abusing each other. That's certainly possible. To say that he was abusive and afterwards she started to respond with violence as well, I'm gonna say evidence of that, please. I haven't seen that shown at all by anybody in trial or outside of trial. I've seen nothing that indicates that he was abusive towards her and then it switched. Sorry, haven't seen it. Try again. It's called reactive violence. That's not what reactive violence is. Reactive violence is when it is not a reactive violence is when somebody pushes you until you respond with vitriol. Right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be like violent as in punching somebody. It could just be like violent as in like you snap at them or you tell them to fuck off. You get a little bit more aggressive, right? So it's basically pushing somebody's buttons until they become aggressive with you, whether it's verbally or physically. And so those are those are something that's something that's an outburst. But in this case, the framing of this is basically saying, well, Johnny Depp was pushing Amber's buttons until she hit him. Which has not been demonstrated. There has been no demonstration of that. I don't know how else to put it. These are generally in outburst situations. You might be pestering the person for a long enough period of time, but not reactive violence doesn't tend to be like extensive, like over periods of time, right? So, and we know that Amber's abuse and violence towards Johnny happened without his input. So like if he's trying to walk away, that's not him egging her to hit him. That's him walking away and attempting to extricate and de-escalate the situation, which is just not what we see from Amber. We don't see Amber trying to de-escalate. We don't see Amber trying to do anything except for force to I would almost say it's the other way around, except that there's no evidence that he hit her. None, zero, nothing. There is big fat zilch. The only one with the power to be abusive with Depp. No, anybody can be abusive. Money and status do not protect you from being abused. It might to a degree protect you from legal ramifications or stop people, like in Harvey Weinstein's case where you got away with it for a really long period of time. Sure, it could do that, but it doesn't stop anybody from abusing you. Right? So Johnny having money and status is not a factor to whether or not it's possible for somebody to abuse him. I'm a domestic abuse victim as well. Sorry to hear that. I know how it works. You have an experience. That it's not going to be how it works for everybody, but okay. I disagree that mutual abuse doesn't exist. I agree with that. I've watched every second of the trial. Both of them were toxic. Yes. Abusive. Disagree towards each other. Sure. It's discussing what both of them did to each other. I just hope both find peace. I don't know what disgusting thing they are suggesting Johnny Depp did. I don't know what they're referencing. And just the fact that I don't know what they're referencing tells me all I need to know at the very least. So why is he taking legal action if not to continue the abuse? What else does he gain except to slight her in public, which is exactly what he has done. That's controlling behavior. No, that's not controlling behavior. Controlling behavior would be like if he was telling her, don't do this or else. Like he was threatening her. There's no indication of that whatsoever. If you wanted to go the route of what possible reason would somebody have to take legal action? Because she slandered him? Because she is the one who keeps going back? There's evidence of her continuing this charade and evidence of him trying to make things as like easy as possible for them to be able to move on, and that she's just not letting him. That's controlling behavior, not allowing someone to move on from you. He went the legal option because he got an opportunity to do so and got an opportunity to finally be heard as the victim in this case. Simple as that. Okay. Wait, so you've only watched Heard's witnesses and totally skipped on the previous 2 weeks? Sounds about right for an Amber Heard supporter only listening to one side. Oof. They literally didn't witness anything. They saw Amber and listened to what Amber told them happened. Every witness has testified they never saw Johnny Depp touch Amber. Correct. Except Whitney, who testifies she not only saw him grab Amber by the hair and hit her, but also was hit they mean, by him as well. Also, Josh testified to having been assaulted by Depp when defending Amber. So the interesting one with this is that that's actually, if I remember correctly, and I read through earlier when it might be gone now. I'm pretty sure I saw Claire talking about it. Let's go to her. She had retweeted something that went through the case, and it was really good. If I'm not mistaken, it was a Reddit thread. Oh yeah, Keemstar's getting sued, by the way, for anybody who cares. Here we go. Depp versus Heard. Some inconsistencies I noticed in today's witnesses. This was from yesterday. Raquel Pennington claims that she didn't see Amber put on makeup while in the courthouse. Amber claims that Raquel stopped her from putting makeup on while in the courthouse. That was to go get the file for the divorce and for the tiara. Raquel claims that Johnny said to Kelly Sue, "Get your hands off my woman." Amber claims that Johnny yelled at Kelly Sue, "Get your hands off my woman," grabbed her by the wrist, and said, "Do you know how many pounds of pressure it takes to break a human wrist?" Christy Sexton claims that Amber told her that Johnny cut his finger with a bottle accidentally. Amber claims that Johnny cut his finger with an antique phone. Whitney Heard claims that Debbie Lloyd was struck by a can thrown by Johnny. Amber claims that Johnny narrowly missed Debbie with a can. Whitney claims that Johnny attacked Whitney and Amber defended her sister by hitting him back. Amber claims that she came between Johnny and Whitney and attacked her before he could hit Whitney. Also, both Josh Drew and Liz Marr's testimonies are directly put into question by the body cam footage. There you go. So you have Amber's witnesses being in direct conflict with testimony from the police, as well as security and body cam footage provided also by the police, which is like the damage around the house and what had happened in different situations. So when you get to something like this, it's like, except for this, which the credibility is out the window due to 7 other different things. Why did Amber lie about donating her divorce settlement? Why would she care if Johnny donated it directly? Why does she not have pictures of greater injuries when she has produced everything else? How can ice reduce the swelling of a broken nose after one night? Listen, guys, ice is magic, and so is makeup. She got one of those Mr. Clean magic erasers and just like took her whole face off. The charities have backed her and said she's pledged the money to be paid over 10 years. Dependents really don't care for the facts or information that's readily available. This is incorrect. The charities did not back her. The charities tried to back her, but the information they provided was that she had not donated it and it was coming from other places. She never signed the pledge form, and donated implies payment has been made. It doesn't imply, it means it's been. I wouldn't use the word implied there. It said, no, if you donated, then you said the money is no longer in your hot little hands. Saying she uses them interchangeably is a weak attempt to stop a perjury argument. I would agree with this. There are differences between donated past tense and pledged. She repeatedly claimed that she had donated the money in the 13 months after the settlement and on the witness stand. While in fact, Johnny Depp and Elon Musk have donated more money to her charities than she has. Can we please point out that while all this trial, all this shit here, while all this is happening, Elon Musk is pulling his random fucking Twitter bullshit? Like, coincidence that as soon as this trial started running and Elon Musk decided, one, he wasn't going to go on to the stand for Amber, ballsy for somebody who believes her, and two, that it's just like all of his involvement is getting sidelined by what's going on with Twitter. Like, who cares? Like, bro, did you have you been funding Amber Heard's like complete slander campaign against Johnny Depp? Is that what's been going on? Is he trying to buy Twitter as a detraction? Because that's what it seems like. But yeah, the charities did not back her. Not even a little bit. Here's a quick one. I'll show you. It should be hopefully get audio. I'm not sure if hold on, I'm not sure if audio is gonna go through. No, audio will not go through. Sorry, no audio. So we're just gonna skip it. Who do you think wrote the script? Elon is paying for this mockumentary. I don't know. I have no idea. I kind of feel a little bit bad for Amber's attorneys, but they not only do they have nothing to work with and they're just grabbing whatever they can, but also this is not good. This is not good at all. No, there's no audio through the desktop capture that I'm using, so incorrect, Feline. I can see whether then or not the audio is actually going to slip through from my vMix without having to actually hit play. I heard he wasn't buying Twitter because the number of fake accounts. Yeah, so there's been so when this initially started, Elon said he was going to buy Twitter, right? And he's going to buy it for like $44 billion, something like that. Well, he said that he wanted to buy it because like one of the reasons he gave was that if there were bots, he wanted to buy it and fix it. Well, now he's using the bots as an excuse to not buy it because some of the pricing has changed over the course of him saying he was going to buy it. The stocks and stuff changed. That's how that works. And so he's looking for excuses to back out now. Biased witnesses versus actual evidence. I know what I'm going to believe. None of Amber's claims match any of her photo evidence. This is actually a really good point because one of the things that is not taken as strongly for evidence is witness testimony. Witness testimony is one of the lower end of the bar. Excuse me, one of the lower end of the bar things when it comes to evidence. Right? Well, Amber provided no medical records and then threw her lawyers under the bus in saying that, well, she provided everything. And so what, your lawyers just decided not to use it? It blew my absolute mind when she told the Camille Vasquez, when she told Vasquez that her she reacted the same way I did. She was just like, are you telling me that your divorce lawyers during an ongoing case took privileged information from their client and gave it to TMZ, breaking attorney-client privilege? Are you kidding me? So she walked that back. Amber walked that claim back a little bit when she said, well, they didn't get it from me. It's like, yeah, okay. So she posted that basically Amber admitted to that video making it to TMZ from her potentially through someone else or something else, but, you know, not her directly, allegedly. Actually, I had a couple more notes that I did want to talk about before I forget. So the financial advisor that Amber Heard's team brought up, the ex-financial advisor of Johnny Depp's, made a mention about when Johnny Depp's attitude and spending habits changed. And this was via Amber Heard, again, remember, this is via Amber Heard's prompting, her team. And he had answered by saying that Johnny Depp changed and his habits changed and his spending and attitude all changed after he met her. So that's not a. No, Amber only admitted to TMZ getting that recording not directly from her. That she didn't give it out. Which she said she hadn't given it to anybody except her lawyers. Okay, so when I was listening to the Johnny Depp's lawyer, Adam something with a W, whose name escapes me, I would love to see somebody come up with a tally of how many questions she was actually able to ask and how many questions she had to like just drop because they would have broken attorney-client privileges. As a lawyer, she ought to know this, so I'm curious as to like what the thought process was in doing that and then providing that. I mean, it might have been required because it was Adam Walsh, I think his name is, because it was him that they kind of had to have him as a witness, period, for what had gone on with the son and such. But it was just embarrassing. Like she's an attorney. She has to know what attorney-client privilege is, right? Like she has to. And so not only did that make her look incompetent, but I also made a note that says, if that's the case and Amber has a history of hiring shitty lawyers that don't know what attorney client privileges, then maybe she wasn't lying about the TMZ thing and her lawyers did screw her over. Waldman, thank you. Thank you, Manya. Manya, did you want to come in? And then there's, this person pointed out, how about the fact that their stories don't even match? One of them says one thing, then another one says something else. Sure, they all claim damage and anger, but they can't agree on the details. If that doesn't say red flag to you, my guess is you choose to ignore that. And that's one of the things of why you have multiple testimonies. There's been a consistency with like Johnny Depp's whether or not Johnny Depp's behavior changed when he was high or not. Everybody has unanimously said that his behavior does not change. Everybody. The only person who's claiming he does, and these are professionals. These are like his doctor, his shrinks. These are people. These are not just people paid for by Johnny Depp. These aren't just Johnny Depp's friends. The only people that are saying anything even remotely close to different is, I'll send you a link, Bonnie. Is Amber Heard's friends, not Amber Heard's shrink, not Johnny Depp's shrink, both of which the nurses are required to take notes and fill out forms and make reports when they witness or see any kind of domestic violence or when they see any kind of injuries on somebody. If you're an EMT and you're off duty, you have to pull over. You can't just you can't just drive by. You're required to, it's part of being an EMT. It's the same thing as being a nurse. If you're a nurse and somebody's got that shit kicked out of them, it doesn't matter who's paying you. You need to treat that person, which would be the same requirement for the EMTs that got called to take Johnny Depp to the hospital in Australia. They would have had to have checked Amber. It would have been a requirement. Man. Me add an input for Manya so she can get in here because like my brain is gonna explode. Cool, that works. Cool. Whoop. Let me get you on Discord, Manya. There you go. There's the link. It's gonna take me a second to get your audio right, so let me add her in here. Isn't VMix fancy? Whoa, she's huge. That is number 6. Number 6. There we go. Because of course we're gonna get Moni in here. Why wouldn't we get Moni in here? Hearsay, heard it before. Yeah, really.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
Can I hear you? Can I hear you? Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you not hear me?
What's going on?
Can you hear me now?
Oh dear.
Oh wait, that's the wrong thing.
Let's see.
You should be able to hear me. Do I need to put my set? Do you hear him? Whoa, that's no good. Can you hear me now? Oh, she froze. She did froze. I don't know. She froze. We'll see what's going on. I gotta put headphones on so that way she doesn't echo for me. Manya, what's happening? What's going on? Do I have to disconnect her? I don't know. We're professionals here. The amount of leading questions during the redirect was absolutely absurd. Yeah. Yeah, the number of times during the redirect for Amber was bad. Like bad. Like real bad. Oh hey Dapper, how you doing? I need to fix the title of the stream because we're just not even doing art. We're just talking about this stuff because I could not handle. Actually, let me just do that now. I'll make a new thumbnail in a little bit.
Is this working?
Oh, hey. Hello. Can you hear me? I can hear you. Can you
hear me now?
I can
Yeah. It's working. It's working. It's finally
success?
working.
Yay.
Oh, there's a delay, but I think it will work.
That's okay. That's not a problem. Let me turn you back on. Hey, there you go. Hello. Can you see us?
So it's working, yeah?
You good? Can you hear me?
Yeah. It's working.
I can hear the stream.
I can't hear you for some reason.
What do you mean?
come in late. Oh God, this is not good.
All right, hold on. Let me try one more thing. Let me. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Hold up. All right, I'm gonna disconnect you. All right. Okay, that's been disconnected. All right, try now. Try coming in now. See if that fixed it. Fingers crossed. I don't know. Anya, come back in. Come on. What are you doing? Oh boy. This is it. This is a little bit rough. Come on, Anya. I believe in you. I believe in a thing called love. Just listen to the rhythm in my heart. I believe we can make it now. We'll be rocking when the sun goes down. Yeah, I don't know why you would even. I don't know how you could possibly watch Amber's cross examination and think what she was saying made sense. Hi.
Hello.
Hey, can you hear me now?
I can't still hear you for some reason.
You can't hear me.
I can't hear you. I
Can
don't
you
know what's
hear
going
me?
on.
Can you hear me now?
Now, yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. So
This
I
world.
need to. Oh, God. All right. Well, I can hear myself, which is terrible. And I hate
Oh,
it.
you
That's okay. It's fine. I'll manage. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
you'll manage.
I'll
I'll just be
manage.
here
It's
for five
fine. It's
minutes.
fine. It's fine. I'm only gonna be mostly infuriated, and you'll hear me like slow down as I talk because it's right in my ear.
Aw.
That is what it is. As long as you aren't getting an echo of me, it's okay. I'll figure it out. Oh wait, what if
I'm
I
here
do
only
this?
for
Hey, how about that?
try.
How about this? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you now.
No, you can't hear me now. Okay. Well, that sucks. Oh
Oy
well.
vey. I'll just
Whatever.
I'll just say a few points and then I'll be out of your way so you don't have to like listen to yourself.
No, 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 no. It's
Um,
good. It's good. I'll get used to it as we go.
okay.
So, where are you
So
at?
I was
How you
just
thinking?
I'm at work. I'm at work. Um,
I meant with a
I have been
trial, but
listening.
yeah, that too.
Yeah. With the trial, I am almost to the end of. I'm just at the last two witnesses. I still have to listen to them, but it kind of looks like that Amber Heard is not following her lawyer's advice at all, and she just wants this to be a humiliation show for Johnny Depp.
Hmm.
I think so. That's why they brought Johnny Depp's psychologist in,
Oh, they
subpoenaed
X
him
one.
actually. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it was, I think so, it was in a way trying to shame him, but what he did was he made um the jury and everyone feel sad for Johnny. So it was so counterproductive. And then I think so, because I think why I think is that Amber is not following her lawyer's advice, because Elaine had a lot of points from Camille's cross-examination of Amber Heard that she could have redirected, especially around the donation pledging and all that. But she couldn't do that because Amber Heard was hyper focused on the little things and just
Oh,
couldn't move on from there.
so you're saying
So
that it wasn't really Elaine's
no,
questions that were leading because Elaine didn't know what she was doing? You're saying that Elaine was trying to coach Amber while Amber was on the stand, and so it led to leading questions to try and get her
so
off of where she was stuck.
yeah,
Hmm.
I think so. What happened was, because when you prep your witnesses, you prep your questions also, right?
Right.
So it felt to me that their strategy changed last moment. like
Mm.
5 minutes before the cross, or maybe the last lunch before the cross, or something like that, their their strategy just changed, and it was influenced by Amber, because you could clearly see Elaine was not ready for that. She didn't have the questions to set the foundation, as they say, and then redirect or lead into it, you know? So, and we can see that if you're not prepared, you fail miserably, especially for Elaine, because I think she's so used to deposing people that she just couldn't be creative enough to come up with, redirect questions and questions to lay the foundation. But also because they were such minute things that didn't matter. Like, who cares, like, if Johnny got her the Aquaman movie or not, right?
Yeah, she was like really
Definitely.
offended by that. Like, no,
Yeah.
I was the one who got myself that role. I was the
Yeah.
one who auditioned. I got myself that role. Like, really,
Yeah.
really latched onto that.
Yeah, so she was latching onto really little things, and that kind of tells me this wasn't Elaine, because you could,
Hmm.
and also it kind of shows me that Elaine is a one-man show. She tries to do everything herself because she didn't have much of a team, but Johnny Depp's team was like 4 or 5 associates working together with Ben Chu in charge. So
Mm-hmm.
I think Elaine was at a lot of disadvantage. And also, when you can't manage your client, or your client refuses to be managed by you, that's another thing. I've been listening to a lot of Emily D. Baker, so if you hear a lot of jargon, that's where it's coming from. But it's interesting because Emily D. Baker has been very neutral, but
Mm-hmm.
she's also kind of shed light on how what it looks like, what a certain witness will look like to the jury.
Right.
And today was not good for Amber Heard, especially if you remember they got the expert witness who did the hashtag research,
Yes.
and then they asked him, "Oh, so justice for Johnny Depp is not negative for Amber Heard in any way, is it?" And the guy was like, "No, it was negative. The tweets that included that hashtag were negative towards Amber, but." And then the guy repeated his question. He was like, "But the hashtag itself is not negative. It doesn't, indicate anything negative." And he was like, "No." And then the lawyer asked him, "So you're a fan of justice?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm a fan of justice." And the guy and like Johnny Depp's lawyer ended on, "Me too." And that had such a resounding impact. I
Hashtag
thought,
me too.
hashtags, like, and
Hashtag
what now
justice.
they have. Yeah. So if you remember, when Johnny Depp's expert witness was testifying, they were talking about the articles, and
Mm-hmm.
how it and the researches that were being done in relation to the article. But and Amber Heard teams could have done the same.
Yep.
But for some, they were hyper focused on the hashtags.
There is
For
really something to be said for looking at what Amber's lawyers are not presenting rather than looking at
yeah,
what they are. I mean, it's important to still look at what they are doing, but paying attention to what they
yeah.
are, they're not presenting.
If you
Like,
have,
those photos that they never put out, the medical records that Amber says she gave to them and they didn't
yeah,
put. Then there was
yeah, you just
like
threw them
like
right
this,
into the
like
bus.
these articles. So much of these witnesses today seem like they were just not relevant to what the case
And
is actually about.
and especially the guy with the hashtag, I think so they just gave him the wrong info. He could have done a lot of work for them. They just gave him the wrong info because they assumed a lot of stuff,
Mm,
especially around what's going on the internet. Whereas Johnny's team did not assume stuff. They worked from bottom up. So
mm-hmm.
then the bottom was, this is the op-ed, how it connects to everything else on the internet. That's how they went. And Amber teams were somehow trying to work outside towards the center for some reason. And
Mm,
they couldn't show how those hashtags were directly related to Adam Waldman's statements, and how even Adam Waldman's statements were malicious, or were you know connected to Amber not getting any jobs and stuff. They couldn't make that connection,
yeah,
whereas Johnny Depp's team were making that connection with
yeah.
their expert witness.
Well,
So
because
that
part of
was
that was
very,
covered because of her countersuit, right? They were going over that
yeah,
because they're saying that Waldman was speaking for Johnny, and
yeah,
they couldn't demonstrate that.
yeah. And
So,
I
sorry, go
think
ahead.
that that's why, yeah, that's why I think so. It's Amber who's driving all this, and
No, she has to
she's
be.
refusing
That's
to.
it's her. They're her lawyers. Now, do you know? I've been hearing that Elon Musk is the one who is paying for these lawyers. Do you know if there's any truth to that, or if you've seen that anywhere?
I don't. Nah, there's no connection there.
Okay.
Don't
Yeah, I
see
wasn't
anything there.
sure.
Yeah, and it's funny, like to all the people who were going on the internet. Well, she pledged the money to be donated over 10 years, and I'm like, so why didn't she say pledged? She could have said,
Right.
I haven't received my alimony yet, from Johnny Depp,
Well, except she
but
had.
when I get it, yeah, like when I get it, I will donate it. For now, I've pledged it. Why not say it that way? That's what happens when you jump the gun and you
Mm-hmm.
think you're smarter than everyone else around you, you know? And it comes back to bite you in the ass. That's why you don't get into legal stuff and you don't try to. That this is where it is that, yeah, you have the freedom of speech, but it's not going to be without the consequences of it,
Well, and freedom of
right?
speech doesn't apply to things like this anyway. This is a civil
Yeah,
matter, not a
but
federal
it's
one.
kind
If it
of
was
like,
a federal issue, then maybe you would have a
yeah,
better argument.
but
But there's a
it's
reason
kind of
why
not,
the her lawyers haven't brought that up since the opening.
yeah. Um, and I think that Elaine just lost the opportunity to redirect completely because Amber Heard was driving it. There's a
Mm.
reason why Amber Heard walked out of the courtroom after a cross and didn't sit
Stormed
beside
off.
her, yeah, attorneys and didn't even wait for the jury to walk out.
Mm-hmm. What do you think
Like,
of? So I got this person, Bunny, who had responded to Kat saying, "Where were you for the past 3 weeks? You conveniently missed Johnny's testimony and all of his witnesses. Okay, go off half the story then." Laughing my ass off. Kat had said, "I've seen that too." And then I don't know why you would frame your tweet as if you'd only seen 2 days though, but okay. That doesn't negate what Amber's witnesses are saying now. They're not even friends with her anymore. One, them not being friends anymore doesn't mean much, but here's the thing. That doesn't negate what Amber's witnesses are saying now. Yes, it does.
it
Direct
does.
photos and videos that do not show what they are alleging absolutely negates what they're saying.
Absolutely. They're
A
trying
hundred
to dismiss.
percent. How could
Yeah,
it
they're trying
not?
to say as if, yeah, they're trying to say as if Johnny's team didn't present recordings, Johnny's team didn't present, you know, um, statements from the officers who have responded to events. And they're trying to dismiss as if there was no body cam footage, which on the officers that clearly showed that Amber Heard was not hurt, and there was nothing that was,
Mm,
related to DE. It's These are things important, and I think that these are the things that will decide the fate of this trial, because in the end, if you have witnesses there, it's just he said she said in the world in the end. It's these recordings that will um decide the fate, I think personally.
mm,
Because but I'm also a little bit concerned because the jury is very young. Some of the law
mm-hmm,
tube people who have attended the trial have said majority of the jury is in their early 20s. So
mm-hmm.
I don't know, like, whether they will be able to separate um, and make those nuances. But it's possible after today. I think so. It will be possible for them because, like, they just took the case and just handed it to Johnny Depp's team. They just like, I'll sell it on a plate. Here you go. Feel sorry for Johnny.
I
Like,
have
tell them what
seen
the
I've seen a couple
what the
people who
social media
cover
is thinking about this whole case and yada yada yada.
yeah.
They just laid it out in front of the jury, and I'm just like, what were you thinking, guys?
I've seen a couple people complaining, right? Like complaining about Johnny Depp's team being like, "Oh, you could have eviscerated this guy and they didn't. They dropped the ball." I don't feel that way about it. To me, it's like
No.
they have to pick their battles. There's no point in going after every single little thing. Like somebody getting something wrong that might damage them, but maybe not really. It would do at best. It's wasting time for the case. If you nuke every single of their witness, you're going to be wasting your time, energy, and resources, and maybe
Exactly.
potentially like granting them more credibility than they deserved. So I view it more as Depp's team is hand waving and being like, we're not even going to bother addressing that because it's not relevant anyway, and then moving on.
You're right. You're absolutely right. They are they are showing the jury that yeah, we'll address it, but we are not going to waste our time. Our time is
Or we've
valuable.
already
This
addressed
is
it.
what yeah, they've already addressed it, or this is what we want you to focus on.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I
they're
understand that
using
there's
this
a
time
not a
very wisely.
there's like a lot of unrest in America when it comes to like the police, and people aren't necessarily going to want to believe the testimony of the police. I I understand that that might be the case, but they have the body cam footage. And this isn't
Exactly.
like these police beat somebody. It's not that kind of a case, so I don't think relying on that would be beneficial.
No. Actually, the police comes under a lot of scrutiny when they're
Mm-hmm.
responding to such calls.
Yeah.
So their conduct has to be impeccable because they're going to be questioned. You know, if a victim says, comes out and says that,
Repetition, yeah.
yeah. And it's funny, it's kind of funny that if Amber heard any problems with these guys' conduct at that time, that they didn't recognize her as victim of domestic violence and stuff, why didn't she lodge a complaint against them? She didn't
Well,
lodge a
there was
complaint.
also that whole bit during the cross examination where Vasquez was asking Amber about what the police had alleged. The police, under testimony, said they did not see any injuries on you. Did they, Miss Heard? And then she said something different than what the police officer had attested to. She said, well, they didn't believe what they saw was an injury. And it's like, that's not what she said. And you were in the courtroom.
And and she also said like, oh, they didn't think it was a big of a deal that they were walking on glass with me. And I'm like, the body cam footage doesn't show anything like that. What are you doing? And that's what I think is the biggest thing that's going to hurt Amber, that she gives these big claims like climbing mountains and stuff, but when it comes to evidence, it's just like delivering nothing. And it's this is from someone who knows that how recording and taking pictures is important. To me, it looked like the pictures she took of Johnny Depp sleeping with the ice cream on him, nodding off and shit. It was to embarrass him, to bully him.
Well, I mean, that
And
was one of the questions. Well, were you not afraid of your violent husband being upset at you for taking this picture and sending it to your friends? And she was like, why would I be?
and
What?
and and when
What?
Camille didn't say anything, I
She just
was
let
like,
that hang.
bam, bam. It just went like the gavel on the fucking thing. It was awesome.
There
Camille
is
did a
I
very good job.
there is almost nothing more that you need to know that so much of this is bullshit than Amber Heard alone. Amber Heard
Yeah.
testimony and Amber Heard on the stand tells you almost everything you need to know about this case. And then everything else is just gravy on top. Everything else is just
Oh,
toppings. You want a cherry, you want some sprinkles, you want
you
Smarties and
want
M&Ms on there,
cream?
some chocolate
Yeah,
sauce.
yeah.
You want this guy driving and vaping while he's getting questioned? Sure, here you go, have
Oh
it.
my goodness. That was so entertaining. Oh my goodness.
There's
And
such
you
a
should have seen
big
the judge's
difference.
face.
Oh my god, it's amazing. There's such a big difference between Amber sassing um Vasquez or trying to sass um Depp's team and Depp sassing Amber's team. Like there's such like a difference in how that's received, and people might not realize why. Do you have thoughts as to why that might be the case?
I think so because Johnny, like Johnny's thing is like he's like, yeah, I'm not perfect. I get it. He's like that. But Amber's like she's so self-righteous and she's so perfect. While she's telling, oh, this is the drug bending Johnny, while admitting herself that she takes
Mm-hmm.
drugs and she does MDMA and she does mushrooms. And you're
Right.
like, do you see yourself? Like, what you're doing? So
But
that's, I
did
think that that's
Johnny
what was
Depp
taken.
play Call of Duty?
Oh, yeah,
Ah.
that's a good question, isn't it? Ugh, please.
So Feline
Intrigued to
saying
know about like
charisma, and partially yes.
charisma check.
Yeah, partly.
What's the charisma check? Is it D4, D6? What is it?
Amber's got a negative to her fucking charisma. Jesus Christ. The
Also,
okay, hear me out. It is the difference
uh,
in delivery. So she might be sassing them in what she believes is the same way, but it's not earnest and it's because she's mad. Johnny Depp's not
yeah,
angry. He's maybe getting a little bit annoyed, but he's a
yeah,
charismatic, naturally funny, sassy person. So he is dealing with something that he finds annoying with earnest humor. He thinks it's funny because it's absurd. And she doesn't.
and
She's mean. And so that's the
she's
difference. That's how
mad.
you can always tell whether or not a joke that is risque is going to land or if it's not.
Mhm.
And it's always, why are you saying it? Are you malicious? If you're malicious, it's not funny. Rez
Yeah.
popped by. Hi, Rez.
Iris.
He said, at this point during Amber Heard's testimony, she has been caught outright lying multiple times. The available evidence contradicts her claims. Her witnesses have not been able to corroborate. Johnny has been a monster, or sorry, have not been able to corroborate Johnny as being a monster, and available evidence paints her in a bad light.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Yes.
kind of consistent with Dr. Curry's assessment.
Dr. Curry's
Very
assessment was
consistent.
so on point. You go, you go.
Spot on.
You talk, you tell.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get tea.
Okay.
Don't get me in trouble.
So, yeah, so Dr. Curry's assessment was spot on, um, with the observations around grandiose and claims and stuff, and being very hyper focused, and becoming very obsessive. That's what Amber did. Like when Johnny tried to look for space from her and he would leave, she would message him consistently. Like if you are a mature person in a healthy relationship, you would say like, okay, I understand you need space from me, but just let me know that you're okay, and let me know when you want to talk, or can you talk about this when you have, calmed down or something. But what she was doing was, oh, I need my man. I don't need the monster. Please come back home. Please come back. Sorry, please come back home. Please pick up my phone. She kept repeating the word monster. That's not what you do when you're in a healthy relationship, or if you're aiming for a healthy relationship. You don't call the okay. If you're going to call someone, who are you going to say to someone on text message? Oh, um, I want my man, not the monster. Do you really think that person is going to be interested in talking to you? No. And this is what kind of showed with the text messages that Amber was hell bent on making Johnny believe that he was a bad guy when he wasn't. And I kind of personally also think that Johnny Depp's family kind of preyed upon him. I was just saying that, like, when they showed Amber Heard's text messages, it kind of was in line with Dr. Curry's assessment that she is obsessive. She can get very obsessive and hyper focused. When she was like continuously messaging him when he was trying to stay away from her and take a break, right? And she was continuously text messaging him, calling him in a month, saying, "Oh, I want my man, not the monster." Like no one's gonna want to come back to you if you say something like that to them,
Did you
you know?
notice? Did you notice that not only did all of Dr. Curry's descriptions show rear their ugly heads during her cross examination, but did you notice that during the what's it called so the cross examination, or was it before that? Anytime anybody has asked Amber anything about Johnny, she doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know the answer.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh well,
Nope.
did he have pins in his fingers? Oh well, he had a lot of things that he had to get for it. I don't know if the pins were in at that point or not. And it's
She
like, what about the
couldn't
bandaging
even
for the
remember.
MRSA that was on his
Yeah,
hand? Oh, I don't know about that. The skin. What about the skin graft? Well, that was one of the other things. She doesn't know. She doesn't know anything about him. So for somebody who like loves somebody so much and is so passionate and can get like, come on, you don't know shit about this man.
if she wanted to really show that, oh yeah, I was part of his recovery. He said he wanted to be sober for me. She could have said, I knew when to give him his medicine. The nurse trusted me with that, or something like that. But she never said that because the nurse would have been like, bitch, you tried to like take away his medication when he was begging for it.
Mm-hmm.
And they never touched that again. Never ever touched that again after she mentioned it.
Yeah.
When Johnny mentioned it, that I was begging for my medication from this lady and she wouldn't give it to me. And that kind of tells me that this is all about control for her. This is
Mm-hmm.
control. And she's a control freak. Simple as that.
I would
She,
even say it's probably
and
beyond that.
yeah, his mood would flip like a switch and get dark. What do you mean by dark? He would just walk away. Oh yeah, like a fucking adult. Okay.
So wow, so scary.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't hear Amber lie. You didn't see her get caught in lies. You didn't see her lawyer rage quit during redirect because she couldn't clean up the mess. You didn't see her disrespect the whole court by leaving before the jury and the judge. I'm personally more offended by the lie being told by JD, which is that he did not harm Amber Heard. That is the relevant huge lie here. Why uh, not what makeup she wore or where her divorce money went? What? What? And yes, can we get a applause for Camila Vasquez? Did you hear Elaine trying to pronounce Vasquez as Vasquez?
Oh God, I hate that.
Like,
But
did
I'll
anybody
give it
else?
that
Was that just me that heard that? Because I'm pretty sure I heard that like 5 or 6 times.
I heard that, but I think so it's just a thing with Elaine at this point. She mispronounces a lot of names. She called Dr. Hughes like Dr. Curry at one point, and I was like, this lady is lost.
I want to be Vasquez when I grow up. Vasquez is like the real life version of Legally Blonde.
Oh yeah, she's the girl boss as the
Oh, she's
majority.
amazing. I gotta finish getting my tea.
She was good. She was like, Miss Heard, respectfully, that's not my question. That was like awesome. And I saw on TV somewhere, I think so, they were trying to make a big deal of her hugging Johnny Depp after the deposition, cross-examination of Amber Heard, sorry. I'm like, a lot of lawyers do that. They hug their clients after, like,
Yeah, I saw you
the
arguing with
case.
somebody about that, about professionalism and like it's
Yeah.
inappropriate for Johnny to
Or
hug
like
her
they're
or
trying to say,
whatever.
oh, this undermines the work that women have done in this field of law and shit. I'm like,
What?
and everyone on YouTube who has been part of the legal community were like, we do that from time to time. We do hug our clients after,
Yo, we
the
high
case is
five.
over. Yeah, and we high five. And it's not like she just hugged Johnny. She hugged Ben Chu.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's I think so, the leading
He's the
counsel.
lead
So
counsel,
she
yeah.
hugged her colleague and her client. There's nothing wrong with
Days
that.
before this, because Amber left in a huff, right? Days before
Oh,
this, there were times where when they were leaving the courtroom, Amber hugged Elaine. That
yeah.
happened.
What about that? Oh no,
So
because it's how dare
you want to talk about
a
mutual
woman
abuse,
hug a
then
guy.
fine, talk about mutual unprofessionalism in your uneducated
Yeah.
opinion about human behavior.
Manya, intrigue feline from the live chat. Manya, what do you think of the convenient rekindling by Amber Heard to her friends shortly before Deppel? Oh, this was all a thing
Staged.
of like to get them on her side and to get, and I think that personally it was like get to them before Johnny can, because I'm sure Amber's sister would have loved to give deposition for Johnny. Did you notice when Whitney, Amber's sister, was testifying? in court. Amber had her eyes dead locked on her, like, and she had this like a little smirk on her face all the time.
This
And
person
all
makes
the
a
other
good point.
times,
Oh, yeah, I saw that
what is that?
today. During like one of her during one of the depositions, I can't remember which one it was. It was I think her Johnny
Sister.
Depp's ex-girlfriend from the
Oh, yeah.
90s, where she said that
Yeah.
he was kind of jealous and controlling in her opinion, well, based on nothing but her remembering that from 25 years ago. Um sorry. That sounded a little sassy.
I'm like, if you have to go that far back, then it's like
Well,
you got nothing.
even if that's the case, it's still like you know take that with a huge grain of salt that you've got like a jilted ex lover from 25 years ago. Like, are you fucking kidding me? But the like that's the best you have. But this
Yeah,
when
that's
you
what I'm
look
saying.
at Amber, she says that, and Amber's sitting there, and you see her like look over to Johnny and smirk and like kind of glare at him a little bit. And it's like, could one of her counsel tell her to stop looking over at Johnny and like making eyes at him because it doesn't make her look very scared.
That kind of reminded me of something. When she was being cross-examined, and Camille asked her, "Oh, why won't Johnny Depp look at you?" So she went into this long monologue and stuff, and she's
Mm.
like, "I'm here. I survived. I want to move on. I
Why
want to
won't
be
he
left
look at
alone."
me?
Yeah, and what she said was, "Oh, I want to be left alone and move on," right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Camille was comes in with like another like fucking bombshell. She's like, "Okay, so why are you engaging with Johnny Depp's legal team online on Twitter and making
Yeah.
like snarky remarks at them if you want to move on?" That was like,
Why are you writing to them? Why did you send them an email? You fired the first shot, didn't you? You're the one who wrote the
yeah.
op-ed, didn't you? When was the last time Johnny
No,
Depp tried to engage with you at all since your divorce?
she even tried to send um she tried to send a letter to her attorney to Johnny Depp's lawyers that she will
Mm-hmm.
she might well, might go for defamation if he doesn't like if they don't
In
stop
the
making
UK.
like public statements. Yeah, and
Oh
I'm like,
yeah,
you fired the first shot, girl. You sent a letter. Oh no, I just sent her a letter. Yeah, so you initiated it. No, I just sent a letter. It's
that's the
initiation, you
initiation. That's
moron.
what that means. Yeah, exactly. You had no reason to contact them whatsoever, and you did. Um, there's also, and you wrote the op-ed 2 years later. What are you
Did you see my tweet that I
doing? Don't
made?
pretend like Johnny did shit to instigate this. That's not his. Well then, but why? Why would he go to court then, if not to continue the abuse? To stop it? To stop the abuse, maybe? To stop her from controlling his life and continuing to like smear everything. I cannot
It
believe
was
that they called that poor lady from Disney who's basically like a peon in the Disney machine that doesn't know
like,
anything
what?
about anything. She's like, that's above my career. She didn't know anything about Pirate Six. She didn't know anything about the
She said,
communications. She
if
didn't know.
any
She knew
decision will have
some
been made,
names
it's
of some
above
people
my
that work
pay
there.
grade.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. It's like she said, it's if any this is not my pay grade to make decisions based on, articles or stuff, whether someone will work
Yep.
or not. That's not above my pay grade. That's not where I work. She was
She had
just there
no
as a
clue.
filler.
And like
No
they
clue.
chose this was a deposition that was done beforehand. This was not like this is a pre-recorded one. So this is done a while ago. They chose to bring it. Why? Why would you bring this? What were you thinking? What?
I was like, what is wrong with you?
During
Seriously.
Amber's whole, oh my god, he won't look at me. Well, why won't he look at me? And they were like, well, why won't he? Because he knows he's guilty. He's sitting there back there like, oh. That was
Oh
right
God.
after they presented what Johnny had written down. And what Johnny had written down was that he would never look at her again because she was a bitch. So it's
And she's like,
like,
oh, he
well,
can't
Johnny's
look
saying
at
it's because I'm a bitch, but I'm the best person ever, so obviously it's because all the things I've said are true and he feels bad. Like, he
it's
probably
also
does
funny
feel
like
bad
when
for
they
being with you, to be honest. not for the reasons you think.
Usually what happens with the victims of domestic violence is that it happens in a little bit of isolation, right? The
Mm-hmm.
boundaries are pushed where,
Yes.
and you can't compare notes with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
But Amber's whole, support system was living with her in Johnny Depp's penthouses. Her friends, her sister, everyone. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking
Well,
about?
that was a testament that
And
she made too, that Johnny was super nice and generous to her family, including her parents.
yeah, and I
Mhm.
kind of think that,
What an asshole.
kind of feel like, yeah, Johnny Depp was just surrounded by enablers at that point. Amber herself did drugs, and her sister did drugs, her father did drugs. So
Well,
he
I
was just
think that
surrounded
there's
by
also
enablers.
something to be said about Paul Bettany when it comes to that. So we've talked about this on that time of the month. We've talked about how one of the best ways to help someone who is a victim is of domestic violence and from like a abusive relationship is to be their friend outside of that other person and support them and be supportive of like inviting them out and taking them away from that person, but not talking shit about that person or talking about the relationship and just building them up because you don't want to be viewed by the abuser as somebody who is like a threat to their control of that person. So you kind of have to just be their friend and be supportive of
That's
them as
what,
the individual to kind of boost them up so they have enough confidence to realize that they have value, which is what the abuser's trying to control and take away.
yeah.
And
I
that's
think
why
that that's what
I
one
think
of the
that's why
biggest,
Amber didn't like Paul Bettany so much and why she viewed him as a threat because
exactly.
he was there for Johnny.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, if my thing is Amber understands the importance of recording stuff, right?
Yep.
And she went as far as recording Johnny when he was shattering glass and stuff and all that.
Oh, when he was
Why
when he
didn't
was like
Yeah,
slamming
why
cabinets.
didn't you get one of those little cameras that you can install in a bunny or a teddy bear and stuff, the nanny cams, and get that to record everything? She knows the importance of it, but still we can't see anything of that sort. Whatever
Mm.
she's saying happened. And that really pisses me off because she knows the importance. And I think so she just took pictures of Johnny just to embarrass him as a form of control.
Well, there's also like
To
a degree
to
of like or superiority. There's a degree
yeah,
of like what again the expectation being set and then what we're getting presented with. And so you've got like way up here we expect to see this, but we're getting this. And there's a disconnect here, but there's also like real key information missing. So when you listen to Amber on the stand with her lawyers, they're talking about she was abused this time and before the Met Gala, and her back got all fucked up, and then they didn't show any pictures. And then when Vasquez had her opportunity, Vasquez was like, "You didn't present those medical records. You didn't. You thought your nose was broken. There was no need for
It
medical."
changed. It changed actually.
Mm-hmm.
When Amber was giving her testimony the first time, she said, "Oh, he broke my nose."
Mm-hmm.
And then when Camille cross-examined her, she was like, "I thought my nose was broken." And
Yep.
I was like, "Girl, I see that. I hear that. I know exactly what you're doing." Because
Yeah.
she wanted to justify why didn't she go to the doctor because I thought my nose was broken.
Yeah,
I'm
there's a
like,
reason I didn't watch the or didn't live stream the cross exam, and the main reason I didn't live stream and talk about the cross exam from like a live point of view is because I knew Vasquez and Johnny's team were gonna be. I'm like, they don't need my commentary on top. Just watch it. Just watch it. Let's just sit back, and I'm just gonna sit there with popcorn and like drinks and just be like
enjoy it. Yeah, exactly.
satisfying.
Yeah.
It's
Okay, I'm
satisfying
gonna head
watching
out.
Vasquez to take her big boss lady high heels and just step on her.
Yeah, yeah.
Fap to
She's
this later.
awesome. She did exactly what she was supposed to do, and she did it to
Mm-hmm.
the point. I'm gonna head out now because I'm at work, but you enjoy your stream. I'll keep on listening to you guys in the background
Yeah.
and enjoy your day, everyone. Hopefully I want to do a stream on your guys' Saturday. That will be my Sunday.
Mm.
I want to um listen to Camille's cross-examination and then Elaine's sorry, no, Camille's examination, and then no, sorry, my bad. I'm lost. Sorry, it's Friday. My brain's like already into weekend. So I want to watch Camille's cross examination and Elaine's redirect. I want to.
I would like to rewatch that redirect also. So yeah, I'll be
So
probably
if you
in your
want to come
live
to my
chat.
channel, we can do it together. Yeah, we could do it together on my channel if you want.
There you go. Check out Manya's channel. I may or may not be over there on Saturday or on Sunday,
Come on,
whatever day that
you're
is.
always invited. I'll
Saturday.
set up a live stream tonight when I get back home. But enjoy, everyone.
Nice.
Enjoy this shit
Whoops.
show. This is awesome.
I forgot I can't move this.
Cheers.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.
Bye. Isn't she adorable, everyone? Whoops. There we go. So, oh, okay, good. I can turn this now. Now I can no longer hear myself. Thank God. Oh boy, that's a rough audio for me. Okay. Amber recorded everything, it seemed, yet I don't recall hearing one recording where she spoke of Johnny hitting her. It's been her hitting him. Not one friend testified seeing him hit her. Not one. Even her therapist said Amber seemed to be the aggressor. I don't know what more you need than that. Realistically, between the recording, like, take out witnesses besides the two key ones, right? Take out everybody, listen to what Johnny had to say, listen to what Amber had to say, and then listen to the recordings and look at the pictures. That on its own, on its face, stands. And then I still cannot believe, oh, what was it, this one here? I've seen that too. That doesn't negate what Amber's witnesses are saying now. Yes, the previous days absolutely negate what they were saying now. And one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this woman's tweets here is because she works for NBC News. She's a writer for NBC News. Pinned from May 13th, content creators of all genres are pivoting to cover the Depp versus Heard trial, riding the algorithm to millions of views. I spoke to one 15-year-old boy who went from Elden Ring streams to trial coverage. He's now at 22 million channel views and counting. Ooh. Today in Depp versus Heard, Depp's lawyer, Adam Waldman, is being questioned. Waldman is one of the most fascinating characters in this saga. For years, he has worked on behalf of Russian oligarchs. Oh, goody. Did he now? Shall we look? Who wrote this article? This is for The Insider. Hunter Walker, a Business Insider politics editor and senior political correspondent, previously who worked at Talking Points Memo, the New York Observer, and The Daily, among others. Hunter is a native of Brooklyn, New York, holds a master's degree in journalism from Columbia University. Should we look at his Twitter? What do you got going on here? Oh, the Rolling Stones. Okay. Yeah, huh? All right. Do you have any thoughts about the Amber Heard stuff? No, doesn't look like it. It's all about something about Virginia. So oh, whoops, I didn't mean to get rid of that. Let's see what this says. Adam Waldman, eh? Vladimir Putin has a network of lobbyists and lawyers working for him here in America. These executives can be identified through disclosure forms required by the Foreign Agents Registration Act. which mandates people who work as agents of foreign principals in a political or quasi-political capacity document these relationships with the Department of Justice. Business Insider went through these records and identified the American executives who are working with Putin's regime. Adam Waldman is the founder and chairman of the president of the Endeavor Group, a DC consultant based about 2 blocks from the White House. In May 2009, Waldman filed paperwork with the DOJ indicating that he would be working with Russian billionaire Olg. I'm not trying to pronounce that. Deripaska to provide, quote, legal advice on an issue involving his U.S. visa as well as commercial transaction. I'm not trying to pronounce that, had his U.S. visa revoked in 2006 due to long-standing concerns about his links to organized crime, and because the State Department was concerned, he lied to American investigators who were looking into his business. However, in August and October of 2009, shortly after he began working with Waldman, he was allowed to make 2 visits to the U.S. During those trips, they met with FBI agents about an unspecified criminal probe and with top executives at American companies. The Wall Street Journal reported a 2009 trip included meetings with Morgan Stanley, General Motors, and Goldman Sachs chairman and CEO Lloyd Blankfein. In his initial FARA paperwork, Waldman indicated Endeavor would receive a monthly retainer of $40,000 for his work. Waldman also said that he was not being supervised or directed by any foreign government. However, in October 2010, Waldman made another filing indicating that he would be working with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, quote, gathering information and providing advice and analysis as it relates to the U.S. policy towards the visa status of Oleg. But there's not, like, did she read this article? Waldman was permabanned from Twitter and kicked off of Depp versus Heard after he breached a protective order. Well, that's not what Waldman said. Under penalty of perjury, he said that he didn't know why Twitter kicked him off, because it's Twitter. Twitter does that shit. Let's see what this one says, shall we? Lawyer for Johnny Depp kicked off case after press leaks. A lawyer for Johnny Depp was sent packing Friday after he was found to have breached a protective order in the actor's Virginia court battle against his ex-wife Amber Heard. Fairfax, on one or more occasions, the judge presiding over the lawsuit between the divorced actors Johnny Depp and Amber Heard has made it clear that he doesn't want their Virginia defamation case tried in the press. Coming off of the latest disappointment on the front, Judge Bruce White threw Depp's attorney Adam Waldman off the case on Friday after finding that the lawyer had given the press confidential information covered under protective order. Waldman was admitted pro hac vice for this case only to Fairfax County Circuit Court in September of 2019. That same month, Judge White signed a protective order governing the treatment of the Depp and Heard personal information, passport numbers, phone numbers, and the like, as well as medical records, including psychological conditions, diagnoses, or treatments. Heard has moved for sanctions against the Washington attorney last month, contending that the press leak happened, quote, on at least 2 occasions. Wasn't she releasing information? She said Waldman was responsible for disseminating audio recordings, surveillance pictures, and declarations from third-party witnesses to websites and Twitter users, quote, leading readers and potential jurors to believe that these declarations are somehow official case documents, which they are not. So he can't have put that's self-contradictory, is it not? How can he possibly be releasing court documentations but affecting potential witnesses and jurors because they weren't official documents? So who wrote this one? This is Courthouse News Service. Who's this? This was written in 2020, by the way. Latest articles. Witnesses back up Amber Heard's claim of abuse. Depp attorney spars with Heard, accuses actress of abuse. Amber Heard testifies that she feared for her life during volatile marriage to Johnny Depp. A Tale of Two Trials. Amber Heard describes escalating abuse, rape by actor Johnny Depp. Amber Heard takes the witness stand, describes beating and sexual assault. Analysis: Heard suffers serious sexual violence at Depp's hands. Witness says Heard op-ed created cancel situation for Depp. These are all pro Amber Heard. There's no bio. Who are you, lady? Like, look at these. Photos of actor Bruce shown to jury. Like, are you kidding? These are just general articles. These are the ones that this woman has written. These ones not necessarily. Let's take a look. Let's see if this one was also written by her. Yep. Gee, biased sources. Who'd have thought? The mainstream media only looking at one side because it's easy and it's what makes them money? Wow, I've never seen that before. Also, if you'll notice that this was an addition added, right? Watch the trial, listen to the evidence. It's not looking good for Depp. People aren't just telling you to watch a trial and look at the evidence. They're telling you specifically what to look at and how have you not seen this? What are you talking about? Well, needless to say, I think that kind of tweet and that kind of messaging from a larger platform is what causes things like this, things like the trial that we're seeing now. The Washington Post did not do the work that the Washington Post ought to have done. I also am not I don't get impressed by stuff like that. Like if you're gonna talk about it, at least watch it. Don't just spit out bullshit. Like that's so vague. It's so vague. Specifically vague. I have one more channel announcement, just so you guys know. I have a stream coming out that's going to be a discussion between Kirk Wilcox and Landon Kirtnell. So if you're interested in that, come on. It's going to be sort of a state of affairs type. We're going to be talking about mostly politics. Some of the stuff we've got coming up for that is I'm going to ask them how they feel about Trump 2024. But both of them seem to be on the sort of independent side of the political spectrum, and neither of them seem to like the Democrats or the Republicans too much. Either way, so I expect that it's going to be quite an interesting conversation. Might get a little bit contentious. If you have your own thoughts on the matters going on, expect to get mad. Bring your own opinions. Bring your own BYO topic. That will be on Thursday, which is the 26th, and that will be at 7 p.m. So it will be after any kind of court proceedings, right near the end as well. So that will be available. I am also announcing that I am opening my platform a little bit because it seems as things have gone with sort of non sequitur show stuff, and as it appears that Modern Day Debates has apparently been hosting Nazis recently, which I'm not too familiar with, but have seen sort of the fallout of. I'll be opening up my platform for debates and discussions since there seems to no longer be a place to do so. So if you have debate topics that you'd like to see and people you would like to see on, I am announcing that right now. It is going to be called, the segment is going to be called, let me show it to you so you guys can see it. Ta-da! It's going to be called Debate Hub. This shit again. So 7 p.m. at 7 p.m. Eastern EST. So that will right now it should be listed on the channel in the next couple of days. If you're going to look for it, I'll start sharing the link. Also, probably later tonight. So if you're following me on the community tab, you'll be able to find it. If you're following me on Twitter, it will show up there. And if you're in the Discord and you're a member, it will show up there for you as well. So it hopefully we'll be able to open up a little bit more of the discussion and debate side of everything because apparently that's all gone to shit. So, like I said, this shit again. So, if you're interested, I also have no problem if you're a sort of newer debater. If you're not used to debating or if you want a more discussion type conversation, I am more than happy to host. So I will be taking over a little bit of that role. And I think maybe I kind of like it in here. So I think I might actually keep the layout that we got and do things. Maybe I'll make myself a little bit smaller. Might change that. We'll see. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think. The Discord may also be opening up. I'm going to have some conversation with the peeps that are in there already because I don't want to step on their toes. But I think there will end up being a new discussion portion of the Discord that will end up being opened and public to everybody. But we'll see where we go from there. That was the initial intention, but so yeah, that's the new and exciting thing. If it goes well and there is enough, then we'll make some changes to the I can't make myself any smaller. No. If it goes well, then we'll make a couple of changes and sort of make that the primary. But until then, I'm gonna do some art, get some commission work done. I will be over on Money's channel on Saturday, but tomorrow I will also hold off on streaming in the morning because I'm a nice guy and don't tell me I don't do nothing for you guys. And depending on what happens in court tomorrow, you might see me back here talking about it again because oh boy, yikes. Yeah. So come by and look out for the new segment. And if it ends up taking over the channel, then hey, so be it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.